Hi everyone, thanks for starting your week with some farm and ranch news. A surprising decision from the Supreme Court as it ruled 5-4 with California over the state's controversial Proposition 12 rule that prohibits the sale of pork in the state not produced according to California's production standards. The ruling is a significant loss for the pork industry. Livestock groups argue that if California's law stands, then other states can set separate requirements, making it harder to meet each state's production standard. Rabobank says less than 4% of U.S. sow housing currently meets that standard, and they expect a shortfall in compliant pork, leaving California with a severe pork deficit while generating a surplus in the rest of the U.S. market. Well, the Montana stock growers have been raising funds for their appeal of the BLM decision regarding American Prairie's grazing allotments. Through rollover auctions the past month, they've raised well over $100,000. The state of Montana has also appealed the decision, and Attorney General Austin Knudsen provided us an update on the appeal and said he expects the issue to end up in federal court.
We are working through the Department of Interior administrative appeals process. I think we're in great shape. The law is on our side. I think we end up in federal court here. We might end up going all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. We'll see. This is important not just for this issue. If we let the Bureau of Land Management get away with this one, what are they going to try to pull next time?
Well, thanks for joining us this morning. We'll see you back here in an hour to talk about our ag markets.
We asked Montana farmer Walt Sales about the challenges of mental health in agriculture.
Another drought. There always is. There's always going to be another something. I grew up in a generation of you pulled yourself up by your bootstraps. But it's become evident is what do you do if you can't even find those bootstraps? If you need to talk to somebody, go to beyondtheweather.com for free counseling for Montana ag producers.
Hello friends, thanks for joining us for the second half of our Ag Report. The DRIVE Act was introduced last week that would prohibit the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration from implementing any regulation requiring large commercial vehicles to be equipped with a speed limiting device. In 2022, the FMCSA issued a notice of intent that it was considering rules requiring speed limiting devices for certain commercial vehicles over 26,000 pounds. The U.S. Cattlemen's Association responded that livestock haulers must take into consideration the welfare of their cargo, which means avoiding rough road conditions, adjusting speed, and being more aware of their surroundings to prevent animal injury. Well, as we turn to our markets, a very positive session for the cattle futures Friday, reacting to forecasts for increased corn production. The cash cattle market did improve as last week wore on. Live sales 175 to 178, dress 278 to 280. In Belle, Fourche, a light test of feeders sold in a wide range. Some 7-weight replacement heifers sold at $207.5. Mid-age and older pairs from $2,100 to $2,350, and the weigh-up cow strong from $1 to $106. At the Newell sheep yards, young bred ewes sold for $180 a head, and 4 to 6-year-old ewes $120 to $130. And the wheat market surged to its highest level in a month, with USDA projecting lower than expected wheat production this year. Old and new crop ending stocks for the U.S. much lower than predicted, offsetting the pessimism from a little higher than anticipated global supply. Well, that's going to do it for today's report. Thanks so much for joining us, and have a great week.